Oh, I think I'm live. I think I'm here. Hi. Erin, Zen Warrior here. While we're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Today's topic is a juicy one and is very much motivated by, I guess, this conversation coming up a lot in the world that I live in, but also there was a comment made on my channel relating to Sadhguru financially benefiting from the work that he does. And I couldn't just comment on this. I feel that it very much needed quite a complicated or an in-depth answer. Not complicated, in-depth answer. So it comes up a lot about, don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way, I meant to say that, right? It comes up a lot, this question of money and religion, money and spirituality. For some reason, so many of us, particularly in the West, have this idea that money has a dirtiness to it that doesn't align up with spirituality. And so we have a bunch of religions in the world that very much look after the poor. And there's a great quote by Osho that says, when he was questioned about the financial wealth that surrounded his religion. Now, his was a very controversial, and religion's the wrong word, his cult. And to say that they were, to quote him might be a little bit dangerous here because he was a very controversial guru. I, however, happen to like him. And when he was questioned about the financial wealth around his religion, keeping in mind, or his cult, keeping in mind that Hollywood was one of the areas that hooked into his religion when he was in the United States. And there were a lot of famous actors and very, very rich, wealthy people that became Osho sannyasins. And so when he was questioned by, I can't remember if it was 60 Minutes or 2020, it's one of those, like there's a lot of financial wealth, don't you think that that's potentially an issue with spirituality? And he said, well, there are a lot of religions that look after the poor. Let me look after the wealthy so that we can look after your poor. I thought it was a very clever answer. But I think it also holds a lot of value in the sense of it's all well and good celebrating humility and poverty and all this sort of stuff as if this level of suffering in this financial way somehow, even with Buddha, there's this idea that he gave up everything. And it's like he had shit to give up in the first place. It's like Siddhartha was a prince. He never knew what suffering was. His father protected him from it. And so when he left and finally caught a glimpse of the outside world and saw poverty and suffering and sickness, and he was like, he then, in order to experience something different from the world he had lived in, renounced everything. And there's this idea in spirituality that we must renounce. We must hold back. We mustn't be sexual. We mustn't be rich. We mustn't be, there's all these we must or we mustn'ts. Getting a whole experience makes you a spiritually wealthy person. If you're a person like myself who grew up from very humble beginnings, actually one of the things that you have to transcend in your head is this idea that money is something you can't get. And actually it becomes a level of spiritual wealth to go beyond not having and to become someone who is abundant. And it's very, very interesting that this concept of abundance has segued very much into spirituality. And yet somehow someone like Sadhguru isn't allowed to be abundant in money when he's clearly abundant in energy and resource and positivity and love. He's constantly putting out. So I find this just super fascinating that there's this idea, there's this guy, right? Sadhguru gets up, he spends 2 to 4 hours asleep every day. And then he gets up and he goes out and he spends all day putting out energy to people and being abundant and being joyous and trying to spiritually lift people up. But he should do that impoverished. Well, let's get real here. It takes money to travel from city to city. It takes money to stay in hotels. It takes money to have a foundation that can be supportive of others. Spiritual enlightenment doesn't have to cost money, But in the capitalistic world that we live in, it often does. And if you're trying to lift people up and help people who are in some way, in some area of their life, impoverished, you are going to find that it's going to cost you money. Also, we look at money as if it's this dirty thing. Someone once mentioned to me that money is a form of congealed energy. And I was like, well, if money isn't that, what else could it possibly be? So we use it for trade, we use it. But if you think about it, you put a truck ton of energy out and you get given in your work, etc., and you get given money back for it. And that money you use to survive, right? Hopefully you use it to live a little as well. And we see people in the financial economic sector who, do a lot of work, much like Sadhguru. They get up and this was also part of the comment that was made, actually, much like Sadhguru, they get up at 4 a.m. They only sleep a few hours a day, and they go and they go and they go. And the comment that was actually made said, oh, well, there are plenty of people that do that for their money and their wealth. And I'm like, it's actually a pretty naughty comparison that you're making there. What you're suggesting is that his motivation is money, because in the situation of these people that get up and want to and desire money and they get up to generate, for example, I'm thinking of traders. There are many different examples and they will come under different sets of circumstances. But let's just take a trader, for example. A trader pretty much lives, dies, and breathes money. I don't see them as creating anything. They are creating wealth. They are not creating, they're not fixing the earth. They're not creating a community. They're not doing anything else like that. They're just creating financial abundance. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging. But I am saying that that's all they're creating. And they get up every morning and they drive for that. And they use energy to move energy to create a large sum of congealed energy. And we can argue about a whole lot of other stuff there as to what's ethical and what's not ethical and what's going on in the financial system. Not today's discussion. But we don't actually begrudge people for doing those jobs and creating a financial abundance. Now we have other people out there who get up every day and they actually try to create something while they're creating money. So they have a vision about something that might create something in the world that could be beneficial. And they go out and they do the same thing. Now, I would suggest to you that traders are not a healthy bunch. They don't have a glowing energy. They probably use quite a lot of different supplements, including a truck ton of coffee to keep going in the day. I can tell you right now, Sadhguru doesn't drink coffee. That's my strong guess, given that coffee is considered a negative pranic vehicle and he's a yogi. And so there's a tendency to stay away from that. He's also very much into fruits, which are a positive pranic food. And he has a tendency to do a lot of fasting and fruit fasting as well. He also fasts and eats only one meal a day. Show me a trader that's deliberately doing that and deliberately looking after their energy. So I've taken very much what I consider the opposite extreme. I don't equate what they're doing with what he's doing. I see what he's doing as he went out to lift the world up and as a result got money. They went out to make money and as a result got money. Both put out lots of energy for that, but with very different intentions and motivations. Neither of them are right or wrong. But I don't see why this person over here who only wants to generate money is somehow better than this person over here who creates wealth out of promoting spirituality and trying to make people's lives better. Does he not deserve to live a good life, or at least as good a life as someone who purely wants to generate money? And yet somehow money and spirituality don't line up. If I am, and this is the secret, right? If I am a spiritually abundant human, the secret tells me I can go out and I can generate and I can create wealth. But if I'm a guru, a spiritually abundant human, apparently I'm not allowed to do that. I'm sorry, people, but you can't have it both ways. That's a juxtaposition. You're like, oh, because he's a holy man, he must denounce everything? Why? Do you know what a holy man is in enlightenment? It's a whole person. That's where it comes from. To be whole. To know thyself so wholly that you accept yourself in its entirety. And that's it. And what happens to those people, as I mentioned in my last video talking about spirituality, is that they realize that in order to live in the world that they're in, they have two options: go hide in a cave in their spiritual height, or start lifting everybody else up in order to actually have friends that are spiritually vibrating on the same level as you. You've got someone in a high spiritual vibration, you think they don't make money? The Hare Krishnas are one of the richest religions in the world because the Beatles gave them all their money, along with an assortment of other people who made a lot of wealth, who were into Hare Krishnadom. I don't see anything wrong with that. I generally love and relate a lot to the Hare Krishnas. And they go out and they give away books and they do all sorts of things. They live in communities. They seem to be a very happy people, largely, right? Not all of them, but that's usual anywhere, in any of these places where we're all attempting to transcend. We go through different things. The Catholic religion is one of the richest, wealthiest religions in the whole damn world. And nobody seems to question that. We just accept it. We almost accept it that because they did it first, it doesn't matter. If you look under definition of cults, and dictionaries and stuff like that, it's not what you think it is. It's pretty much an organization around idols or gods or things that some people could argue whether they're true or false or whatever. But it's basically an organization of worship, pretty much. It's a gathering of people around a central figure or ideal. So by that definition, even Catholicism is a cult or a sect. Can't quite remember the difference between cult, sect, but I think it's pretty much size, right? Or potentially offshoot from, I must relook that up, my apologies. So this concept of money being the dirty thing that should be separated from spirituality, but then you have this like secret ideal and all these different people coming through going, you can become abundant by raising your vibration, but a guru shouldn't have any money. I'm sorry, but stop trying to vilify gurus because they happen to be energy generators and money as congealed energy happens to come around them. I also want you to look at what those people are doing with their money. Wim Hof, who I would consider a very, very modern day guru, is doing stuff in Africa somewhere to help fix up the community there. Sadhguru is out cleaning up the soil and trying to save rivers. He spends every day working on the environment around him to lift it up. I'm sorry, but I at this stage, I don't have anything there to question ethically. So he has a great motorbike that he rides between cities, maybe he stays in a nice hotel. I'm sorry, but when you're running those hours, you deserve a few creature comforts. Everybody does. So it was a great question. I really enjoyed having that sort of feedback, and I really enjoy being able to answer this. In my spiritual journey, when it has come to money and spirituality, the more open I have been, the more flowing and in flow state I have been, the more money has landed in my lap. And unbelievably, it will be things like suddenly £1,000 will, when I lived in England, $1,050, like a weirdly exact amount would land in my lap. And then the next day, the group of people that I was traveling to India with were like, we need money to put down on tickets and nobody's got any. Do you have $1,050 to put on these, £1,050 to put on these tickets? And I would be like, yeah, I weirdly got that money in the weirdest circumstances that are almost inexplicable. And here's the question 24 hours later, do you have the money? We need to put it somewhere. Yeah, totally I do. Of course I do. It landed on my lap magically. Take it. And that doesn't mean the money didn't come back to me. It was just a convenient time to put that money in, and I was the only one who could put it down to reserve our good prices on these tickets to India. So money is a funny thing. When you're open and your energy is flowing, money will come to you. Jobs will come to you. Things will come to you. Stuff will come to you. All of this crap is congealed energy, and I exchanged congealed energy money for it, right? All the stuff around me is congealed energy. The people that come to you are representative of your energy. So, if you want money in your life as well, stop looking at it like it's some dirty thing and that it's some sort of evil that, only evil people have, because clearly that's just not true. And if you see a rich guru, that doesn't mean he's a good guru, but don't dismiss him just because there's money there. I would also like to point out that there are over 30,000 international volunteers to Sadhguru's organization. Before 10 o'clock every morning, he's dealt with more problems than I've probably dealt with in my life. And he's still relaxed. He's still a Buddha. He still looks juicy like he slept 20 hours last night. And it was 4 max, right? And he rode on his bike and he taught transcendental dance meditation and he sat on a stage all day and he ate one meal and he doesn't drink coffee. I'm like, honestly, to question him on the basis of money, open your damn eyes. Really? Like, really? Have a good look before you open your mouth, because it's actually your own toxicity you're talking with. And I don't mean to be offensive there. I'm just like, you need to look at what you're doing, because I guarantee you, if you're the person who's questioning money like that, you don't have any. And you've got a resentment there. And as long as you have that, you're not going to get any. And money will set you free to some extent. Money will give you freedom in this world that will allow you to travel, that will allow you to meet great gurus, that will allow you to help other people, that will allow you to lift your energy up and other people along with you. I hope you have a great day. Whoever is watching there, I can't see you. I don't know how to check that out. I'll have to work it out. But thank you for watching. Feel free to comment. Feel free to invite topics. This is a brief one today. I am going to be doing a yoga this week. I'm sorry I haven't. I did my workshop in Napier the other week, and there was so much to do after, and I didn't get another yoga session in for a couple of weeks, but I will be doing one this week. We're going to play with some breath work. It's super fun. It's super energizing, and it super makes you not need coffee every day. So have a great day. Erin Zen Warrior signing out. And please give me a like and subscribe down below and share my video around and stuff. Looking to build a community and see what we can discuss here and reveal. The end stream is there. Bye all.